Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be diving into the mystery of the haunted Tumbleweed Mansion. So this is something I told you guys I was going to dive deeper into in my video yesterday about why Tumbleweed eventually becomes abandoned and haunted. Well, the Tumbleweed Mansion has a lot of history, especially with the idea of it being haunted. There's actually a newspaper article about the Tumbleweed Mansion that says the town of Tumbleweed, long believed by local residents to be possessed by evil spirits, has claimed the lives of dozens more men. The area was found strewn with dead bodies and weapons, leading the more educated and rashly minded amongst us to conclude that this is the work of mortal rather than unearthly beings. Rumors of riches hidden in Tumbleweed's abandoned mansion may have been the catalyst for the altercation, but for the moment, it remains a mystery. And there are also reports of ghosts at the Tumbleweed Mansion. Another report suggests that recent sightings of ghosts in the abandoned town of Tumbleweed, where visitors are continuing to tell stories of unnatural happenings and strange feelings. Some visitors claim to have seen spirits of the dead, others ghosts, still others ghouls and fairies. Our reporter on the scene found no evidence, but we urge readers to send us any reports of unnatural happenings in the area. So again, that gives you an idea of the Tumbleweed Mansion. Now, let's actually start in Red Dead Redemption, because this is the first time in which we could actually see the Tumbleweed Mansion. So the mansion is by far the largest structure in Tumbleweed. It's situated on a ridge at the westernmost part of the town, and the grounds around the mansion host a small stable, a gazebo, abandoned wagons, and various garbage. Now, the wooden mansion was built on a brick foundation with a cellar, and it is one of the few buildings in-game that actually has a cellar. Now, some players claim there's something happening in the middle window of the mansion after reading the in-game newspaper articles that we just talked about. Now, the cellar is built on walled-in bricks with 3 unevenly sized brick support posts, a wood wall, creating a horseshoe configuration. The floor is dirt and littered with garbage. There's various containers, boxes, chairs, as well as a casket and a mattress inside of the cellar. Now, on the first floor, there's the front room, storeroom, and kitchen. There's a piano, 2 overturned sofas, a wooden crate, a large fireplace, and a fully functioning grandfather clock. Now, the floor is littered with garbage and fallen ceiling panels, and there's a money chest located at the end of the hallway on the left-hand side, which players can find. And then there's the second floor, which consists of 2 bedrooms. These rooms are populated with various furniture, such as beds, chairs, desks, nightstands, etc. So that gives you a better idea of the Tumbleweed Mansion. So there was reports of it being haunted, and there's also reports of treasure being on the inside too. So now let's flash forward to Red Dead Redemption 2. I wanted to find out what would happen if we visited this place 4 years before we could access it in the first game. So the first thing I noticed is that, yes, a lot of the same features like the gazebo and the horse stable and its location are obviously exactly the same. I mean, you wouldn't expect a lot to change in 4 years. Now, the first thing I noticed on the front porch is that there is a cigarette card. This one is Floral of America number 8. I believe it's on like some palm trees. Now, after finding that, I wanted to test if we could get inside of the mansion. And there was no way to get inside by going around to the various doors. I went to the front, I went to the back. I wasn't able to get inside. So for this, I wanted to test if we could use the pistol and lantern glitch to end up getting inside of the mansion. So I grabbed my pistol and I grabbed a lantern and I headed towards the front, and you guys know this trick by now. Basically, you just look down and then you go in first person while the lantern is hanging through the object you want to get through, and we were able to get on the inside. However, unfortunately and strangely enough, there is no interior. So that's kind of weird. How in Red Dead Redemption, there was a full-blown interior with 2 full floors and a cellar, but in Red Dead Redemption 2, there's almost nothing. So this seems a little bit odd that Rockstar would completely wipe the interior from this pretty famous landmark and building. Now, the only thing Now, the only reason I could see this being the case is that the area of Tumbleweed, the desert, and New Austin was kind of a last-minute addition to Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I'm not talking about like the day before they decided to ship out the game, they decided to add the desert and New Austin in the game, but I can almost guarantee you that it was a pretty late addition in the development cycle of Red Dead Redemption 2, because this wouldn't be the first instance where, you know, objects and buildings and places you can run into in Red Dead Redemption 2 feel less lifelike than they do in the original Red Dead Redemption. And this Tumbleweed Mansion here is just one example. Now, I did have a lot of trouble trying to get out, so I ultimately had to throw some dynamite on the ground to escape. And after that, I wanted to go back to the mansion to check out a couple of things. The next thing I wanted to check out is, could I get a better feel for the people that lived there? Maybe they would tell us if, you know, a place like this is haunted. And all the interactions that I had seemed to be pretty normal. It was just people doing chores or sweeping. They seemed to just be random NPCs. So I didn't notice anything too particularly strange about that. Now, again, checking out the rest of the grounds, everything else seems to match up pretty nicely. There's that little gazebo. There's that horse shed that you can find just outside the grounds, which I'm sure you could take that horse if you wanted, but it didn't look like a rare or a superior horse spawned there. It was just like a Tennessee Walker or something like that. So, I mean, you can if you want, but I don't think it's a horse that many people are going to be going after. Now, one thing I wanted to test after this was visiting the mansion at night, because I don't know about you guys, but this place gave me the same sort of vibe that the Emerald Ranch Mansion did. And in case you guys don't know what happens at the Emerald Ranch Mansion, at certain times of the night, there will be a girl that appears in the top middle window. And we know that that is Miriam Wegner. And her backstory is super interesting. If you want to find out about it, I'll leave a link to a video I did a couple of months ago in the description that tells about why she's stuck in the house, you know, a murder mystery that's connected to that too. But I found that to be pretty similar. Now, as we mentioned earlier, some players have claimed that there's something in the middle window of the mansion after reading the in-game newspapers. And the in-game newspapers declare that the area of Tumbleweed in the mansion itself is haunted. So you would think it would be a ghost or a creature or a spirit. So what I did is I waited till nighttime to see if anything would come out from the house or if we would see the windows start to glow. Another thing I thought of is, remember Compson's Stead, that video we talked about last week, how there's that mysterious light that comes on the inside? Well, I waited here for a good bit, and other than the lanterns coming on the outside of the house, it didn't seem as if there was any activity on the inside that suggests something spooky was going on. And I know what you guys are saying. Well, Mr. Boss, it doesn't have an interior. There wouldn't be anything on the inside. Well, the Emerald Ranch house doesn't have an interior either, but we see Miriam Wegner in there, and she comes to the window too. So I assume that something might happen with that, but unfortunately, that did not happen. So it looks as if everything cool and secretive and hidden that is at the Tumbleweed Mansion in Red Dead Redemption was completely wiped in Red Dead Redemption 2. And again, I'm not sure why Rockstar decided to do that. Maybe they just didn't feel like it was necessary to check out an area like this. Maybe the area of Tumbleweed was a place they had to sort of rush into the game, and thus they couldn't sort of build out the interior. But either way, I definitely think this area is super spooky. But unless Rockstar decides to do some sort of single-player update or expansion, which, by the way, I think that would be amazing, especially if it was along the lines of like Undead Nightmare 2, which, by the way, in Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, this mansion was like a big part of that. So maybe that's the chance that Rockstar will get to use. But until a single-player DLC happens, it looks as if that might be the end of the Tumbleweed Mansion in Red Dead Redemption 2. And what's even more interesting is in the first Red Dead Redemption game, there was a lot of uses for this mansion. In multiplayer free roam, a bolt-action rifle and a Carcano rifle would spawn there, so a pretty nice rare weapon. And sometimes players would even hear chickens clucking in the mansion, even though there's no livestock in the town. So there was a lot of weird things going on at Tumbleweed and the mansion, but none of that seems to be there in Red Dead Redemption 2. So as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about the Tumbleweed Mansion. Do you think Rockstar could ever use a place like this in the future? I certainly hope they do in a DLC or a story mode expansion. That would be awesome. But let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.